Hey guys, welcome to Vengoose Gaming. I'm TF Goose here with Vendetta, and we have a special treat today, right?
Yes, sir.
This is good stuff. We have Molly Ghost, Molly, from the Starbound development team, the community manager, here with us in the video. Say hi, Molly.
Hello.
And we're just gonna run through some questions and stuff, and play in a few, screenshots and video and stuff in the background here. Just give you guys something to watch. But we wanted to do a kind of a little behind the scenes sort of thing, and get an idea of what it's like to work on the project and just get to know Molly a little better because, why not? I think the only thing everybody knows about you right now is you like cake.
I
But who
think
doesn't?
my love of cake has been greatly exaggerated. I do like cake, but I don't know about that much.
Perhaps not to the degree that some others who shall remain nameless
Yeah,
have seem. Yeah, pie.
maybe not like 596%. I don't like it that much.
Right, that's a little high. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. All right, so just to kind of start things off, and the deadline, we'll just kind of bounce back and forth on some questions here, man, if that's cool. Uh, I just want to start off and just say, have you been on the project since the beginning? Since the game was announced and well before?
No, actually. I joined up around March of 2012. I hadn't known that much about the project, actually, and I had recently followed Ty on Twitter, I think because I knew that he was a game dev, and I was looking to get into the industry. And I was kind of just looking to get in anywhere I could. And he put out a call for voice actors, and I'd never voice acted before, but I was like, I'll do it, pick me. And he said, okay, well, come on IRC and talk to me about it. And I did, and we haven't ended up doing much with voice acting at all. I think he still wants to, he wanted to put sort of like, not real full voice acting, more like Animal Crossing, where you have sort of noises when somebody's talking,
Right,
that vaguely sounds like speech, so they're not really talking, they're not really speaking English.
right.
But yeah, so I spoke some gibberish into a microphone for a little while, and then I was like, well, okay, do you guys need, a community manager or anything? Because I'm looking to get into that. And he said, maybe, and put me on as a moderator and an administrator, and eventually I sort of worked my way into helping on the game and stuff like that, and managing the community.
Cool. Great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, that's certainly, taking the bull by the horns sort of thing there. You just kind of reached out and again, a testament to social networking these days.
Yeah,
You just
Twitter's
grab,
pretty useful like that.
yeah, that's amazing, and, so hey guys, yeah, those out there in the industry or wanting to get into the industry, there's yet another avenue for you. And to any game developers that are listening to this, I really apologize because you're about to get flooded.
We
with
already do.
Yeah. No doubt, no doubt. They certainly do. So, well, cool. Thanks a lot for that. That's good to
Sure.
know. And about the game and stuff, I know, I think you said originally there you weren't really, doing playtesting and stuff, but obviously you do now. Do you guys just kind of jump on whenever you want? I mean, it's the game, you always have like a current build of the game going and you can just jump in whatever, or do you have sort of scheduled sessions where, you guys try to get as many people online at once and just kind of screw around and test things?
A little bit of both, because I mean, everybody on the dev team has current builds. They can build through, Git and everything like that, and we all, have our copies, and we can play whenever we want. We test things and we implement things and whatnot. But then sometimes if like a big feature is implemented, or especially something that we want to test with multiplayer, then we'll all try to get on and test.
Gotcha. And just, do it together and make sure everything's going well and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine there's probably a lot more of that too as the cycle goes on and you get closer and closer.
Oh yeah.
So that's pretty cool. All right, I was just curious. Vendetta, you got anything?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. What's kind of your background with gaming? Like, do you have a CS degree, or is this just something you really like loved and you wanted to get into, or?
I actually don't have anything above a high school degree. I've played video games my entire life, and I never really grew out of them, and they were always something that I really wanted to get into. And first, I went the route of, I'll do, games journalism. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's really, really not for me.
I know the feeling.
And so then I knew a bunch of community managers, and I really wanted to try it because I felt like it was something. I had sort of a little bit of a background in moderating forums and stuff of like games that I'd played before, and I just decided, it's a step up from that, so maybe I could try and get into that, and so I just kind of went for it.
That's awesome.
Very cool. Yeah, very cool. And speaking of games and stuff, I know we were talking just a little bit before record that you're a Morrowind buff. What are some of your other games and stuff that have really caught your fancy over the years? What other stuff you playing now, and especially as anything that you've played kind of given any inspiration into Starbound?
Well, one of my favorites is Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask, and that's been one of my favorites since it came out, really. Because I still have, my N64 with my copy of it and everything, and I play it once in a while. It did a lot for me in terms of like charm in video games and everything that the developers put into it really being meaningful. And same with some current games, like I'm really into Dark Souls right now. Even though I know that Dark Souls 2 is coming out soon, I'm kind of late to the party.
No problem.
But that's another game that I feel like the developers really put everything that they had into making it a really special and charming game. Well, less charming than like really, really frustrating, but...
Yeah. I was going to say, yeah, that's not exactly the word I would use, but yeah, the second one, frustrating, definitely. but in a good way. I know what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, because you look around the game, you explore the game world, and everything in it just sort of ties together very well. And I really like that about games, and I want to help make games that sort of do that, that make people think, wow, this was really well made.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Definitely, yeah. It's it's nice to see that, because you don't always see it in a lot of the games that come out these days. Sometimes, you'll catch a project that's obviously was rushed, or, little details that seem like they should never have been missed or not given any attention, were.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of them are fun anyway, but there's, like, when you can tell that a game has had, people's hearts poured into it, then you can really, it really makes that much of a difference.
Yeah, I can speak for both Goose and myself. We have been... kind of disdained with the current, like, the AAA publishers, like EA and BioWare and some of those big guys, because it just seems like, I don't know, it feels like they're almost producing, like, cookie-cutter games, and we've kind of shied away from those big titles in favor of indie titles because, like, you're truly getting innovative games that, the big publishers wouldn't try to do because it would just cost too much money. But what I find personally is that the gameplay on indie titles is just so much better than these AAA titles. Like, yes, of course, it doesn't look as good. It might not be as pretty, but in my opinion, they're much more fun to play.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely room for both. Because I think right now, especially, it's a very good time for indie games. But it's also, I mean, I think AAA publishers or AAA developers are learning to... about, the current trends of because indie games are kind of becoming the thing.
Yeah. I'd like to think that it's, wearing off on them a little bit. They're noticing that, yeah, it's not a fad, Yeah, so I hope that's the case too. I mean, it's the kind of that situation where, they get locked in, something that we've discussed before too, even a little bit on the channel, is that until very recently, the goal in games was always make them look better, make it more realistic, something like that. And now that we are at this stage where computers and consoles are capable of producing games that are just almost look better than reality,
Yeah.
That's no longer the goal. So a lot of the developers out there are having a problem deciding where to go with development. And say, okay, well, now that everything looks great, we actually have to make a game that really stands on its own just for being fun. And that's where I think the indie community is really teaching some of these, old school developers, how to do it again, how to think like gamers again, and to care more about the gameplay than just the super duper pretty graphics. I mean, some of the graphics I see today on the indie titles, I mean, again, are they as good looking as, Skyrim and stuff? No, but they're stylized. They're fun, it's interesting, and for sure, like, the pixel art style, 2D graphics that Starbound's using, looks great, and it fits really, really well with the type of game that it is. And I think you guys are seeing definitely the rewards for that in your pre-order numbers, right?
A little bit, surprisingly. I mean, I shouldn't say surprisingly, but it was surprising.
Yeah, I think I remember it might have been Ty or somebody said that there was, or maybe Bart was saying something that you were expecting or hoping you might breach like 50K or something like that on pre-orders, and now you're at 1.2 million. I mean, that's got to be a good feeling.
We were looking at other, indie games and what their Kickstarters have made, the, successful ones, and we were just like, if we hit 50K, then we'll feel that we're doing the right thing by putting out our own pre-order instead of doing like a Kickstarter or trying to get an advance from somebody else or something like that. So we just kind of wanted to do it for ourselves, and we made a bet. Well, we didn't really make a bet. We sort of took estimates of like, oh, well, how much do you think we're going to make tonight after we've launched it? And I think somebody said like 3K. And then we made a lot more than that in like an hour.
Yeah.
And we were all just kind of in awe. And it took a long time for it to really set in, that we, had so much support from everybody. And it was really amazing. It was a really amazing feeling.
That's great, yeah. I know, and Vendetta will back me up on this too, I'm sure, and we've even said it, I think, in our previous videos covering Starbound, but this community is amazing, and I think I don't know, you said you were a moderator on some other communities prior, to Starbound, but I think that for your first real foray into the games industry and becoming a community manager full on for a major project like this, I personally don't think you could have chosen a better community.
I feel like I got kind of lucky in that regard. I just kind of walked into it and I was like, oh, well, this will be, this looks like it'll be a pretty popular game. And little did I know. But I think I got pretty lucky in finding a community that is so easy to work with, really, and so supportive of everything that we do.
Definitely, and that's, I mean, you can see it every day. I mean, I haven't even been super duper following the game except over, the last, I don't know, 3-5 months, somewhere in that neighborhood is when I really, really just kind of woke up and started examining it fully, because, I was a big, Minecraft and Terraria buff, back in the day and everything, so someone told me about this. It came through word of mouth completely to go check it out, and Vendetta, I think I told you about the game, right?
Yeah, you told me about it. It wasn't even on my radar. Yeah. Actually, you got me into Terraria as well.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, this is, when I first showed up on the forums and everything, that's one of the main things that kept me around in an IRC and everything, and eventually wanting to actually start this very channel. I mean,
cool.
It's one of the things that I really, really wanted to cover was Starbound when it came out, and we're going to be dedicating a ton of resources into this. And I know, actually, even thinking of that too, there was the recent announcement, I think, from Nintendo. Are you familiar?
Yeah.
Thing on the YouTube stuff. But for those who don't know, who are listening, Nintendo recently basically made a deal with YouTube and licensed all of their content such that you can't make money, you can't monetize videos, if it's a Nintendo game on YouTube anymore, or they're going to, take the cut, essentially, It becomes a lot harder to monetize those videos, so anything that's out there now and anything that's coming in the future is going to be a big problem, and it's going to really hurt, I think, some of the YouTubers of the world that make their primary income off doing this. We just do this on the side for fun, and it's great, we have a ball of it. But there's some people that their livelihood is YouTube, and some of the more prominent guys too cover a lot of Nintendo, and it's really going to hurt them. So I was really gratified to see the comments that Ty sent out, I think probably after reading that article himself, that you guys are fully supportive of Let's Plays and such. That right?
Yeah. I mean, I saw the controversy on Twitter because Twitter is actually like it feels like a sort of a central hub for game news. Like you have all these sites and everything like that, but if you follow enough, people in the industry on Twitter, you don't even have to read those sites because you will know everything like as it's happening. So I found out about Nintendo's policy, and the general opinion is that while they certainly had a legal right to do it, it was a really kind of stupid decision. I shouldn't say that really, but
Hey, that's all right.
Hey, it's your opinion.
Your opinion is welcome. Yeah.
Because it just kind of says it's the Let's Plays are free coverage, really. They're free coverage, and they generate a lot of sales. I mean, games like Minecraft and Terraria and all sorts of indie games, especially, have generated a lot of sales and publicity and popularity through Let's Plays on YouTube, sometimes even more so than with written press. Both are valuable, of course, but it's kind of a big part of getting your game out there. And I mean, it helps for Nintendo too. It might not help as much for the AAA publishers because people know about those games anyway, but it's still sort of needless to say, sort of screw you to the people who are publicizing your game for free.
Yeah.
It doesn't make that much sense to me, and I think just in our opinion, we want to support the people that are making Let's Plays of us because they're helping us out.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's free advertising. I mean, that's honestly what it comes down to from like a game publisher perspective. Like, you're getting free advertising, and especially for the really big channels, like Total Biscuit and Jesse Cox, like those guys have millions of, subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
It's, that's really just helping them out at the end of the day. Granted, yes, they are making money, but,
yeah, but,
go ahead.
I mean, if they're giving you free publicity and you're not really losing anything off of them making videos of your game,
Right.
then you're not really losing anything at all. You're gaining from them making those videos, and if they make some money off of them too, then it's a win-win, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a nice, like, symbiotic relationship.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I fully agree. Yeah. So that's good. That was actually a great thing to read when that all came out, on Twitter and stuff, because as I just said, we plan on doing a lot of that, and it never even crossed my mind that it wouldn't be welcome until I saw Nintendo's, stuff there. So I was like, good Lord, wouldn't that be crazy if all of a sudden the Starbound devs are just like, we really don't want anybody to show our stuff on YouTube once launch comes because, I don't know, no reason, because we're dumb. We're really, really dumb.
Well, I'd written on our fact page prior that, because we have a lot of emails from people asking permission to make Let's Plays once the game is out, or once the beta is out, or whatever,
Mhm.
Asking for permission to make Let's Plays. So I put up a notice saying, you have our permission and everything, but after the Nintendo thing came out, somebody else had written more of like a generalized permission slip sort of thing for it,
Yeah.
like a notice, so I kind of just took that and
There you
I said, well, this kind of covers it all. So yeah, that's on our fact page too, that you have permission to use our game footage in your videos on YouTube, monetize them through the YouTube Partner Program and whatnot.
Perfect. We'll put a link to that fact page in the description here for you guys too, so you can check that out just in case you have questions on that or anything else.